Good evening and welcome to Here's the Deal. I'm your host, Shilo Gilbert. Thank you guys for joining me this evening. Sorry, Marvin is out tonight. He had something come up with his family. So I just ask that you guys keep thinking of Marvin and his family as they're dealing with their loss in the family. And so at any rate, just keep them in your thoughts and prayers. We'd appreciate it. So with that being said, tonight we have Senator Jeff Magrum on, and we're going to be doing a recap of the North Dakota GOP Convention. So I'm excited about that. So without further ado, we'll bring Jeff on. Good evening, Jeff. How are you?
Good, Shiloh. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's been a while since we've had you on. I was talking with Marvin. I said it seems like it's been forever since we've had Jeff on, and he was trying to remember, and it was just before your guys' convention down there, and it was Linton, wasn't it? Or where was it again?
No, it was at Hazelton School.
Hazelton, that's right. So,
That
well,
was
how have you been?
February 13th, and we didn't have any competitors at our convention. Now, Brandon and Suan have two uh, Schaeferites or Bergamites running against them, but I never did get a competitor. I had heard someone was getting signatures, but evidently they didn't get enough or what happened, but I don't have a challenger, it looks like, in the primary. And I don't know if I don't know if they can get in anymore. There's no Democrat either. So, but I'm still gonna run as if I had a challenger because I really want Brandon and Suan to win. They're wonderful teammates, and so it's such an honor to serve with a good team like that, and honor and a pleasure because it's nice to have like-minded individuals working with me, and I know they'll support me and I'll support them, and then we have a good relationship. And
You bet.
yeah, so I'm disappointed that these other guys jumped in against Brandon and Suan because all it is they're just what I call paper tigers that
Hmm.
are put up against them just to so that they can attack Brandon because he's done such a good job. Of course he's got enemies because of it, and that's the way it works. If you're working hard, you're gonna have enemies, and doing good things like him and Suan, and they're not after Suan. She's such a nice lady that they wouldn't bother her. But anyway, they made a team of Bergamites.
Yeah, I seen that earlier today, and so um, one of them happens to be, I think, a relative of Rick Berg, isn't it? Is that
I,
correct?
I don't know who they are. I'm not gonna campaign for them.
Yeah.
I don't.
No, I hear you.
Years ago, I learned you don't never mention the opposition. Don't even say their name. Just ignore them because we're gonna win. So no use even acknowledging them. This whole thing where these guys think they can just thumb their nose at these districts is very annoying. It's one thing if you are a part of the district and you want to still run in the primary, but to just thumb their nose at these district conventions, and even the ones that did that at the state convention, like Tammy Miller skipped the convention. I think that's
Hmm.
just not right to not acknowledge the people that are willing to give their time and work for their citizens and give them a chance to get to know them. And if they don't go to the convention, then it's there's not that opportunity.
Yep. Well, I'd even take it a step further. Some of them showed up to the convention, but yet they wouldn't speak, and that's even more of a slap in the face to the voters, as far as I'm concerned. But
Yeah, yeah. I'm hoping the conventions prove. A lot of them have in the past, and I hope they prove to be the true picking the true candidates because otherwise, I don't know where this is all going to go. It's just going to be big money trying to buy primary races. So
I agree. Well, let's get into it. It sounds like there was quite a bit to talk about as far as the convention goes. Both days it seemed like it was pretty fiery, and I wasn't able to attend. But the reports that I was getting back is that it seemed like there was all kinds of controversy everywhere. So where do you want to start? Should we start from the beginning?
yeah, I guess the first day. Let me think here. What happened? Steve Nagel was, I think, the first big victory where we seen that we were going to win. We'd had more conservative candidates in these other races. We would have cleaned house because
Mm-hmm.
Steve clobbered Shane Godel, and we knew that we had the votes, and I figured if those people come back the next day, we were going to win the resolutions, which we did too, all but one, and those took a 2/3 vote, so we were winning everything with 2/3. So Steve got up there and did really a good job. Had a great speech. He had a video. It was so comical, and the crowd really cheered.
Yep.
He was talking about the lying press, and then he flashed a big picture of this two-bit reporter. He's one of the big
Yep.
liar, the guy that can't tell the truth. But anyway, when he showed his picture, the whole crowd cheered. It was so
I seen that
funny.
video. That was
Anyway,
pretty good.
yeah, Steve cleaned house on that. He did a wonderful job. Had a great speech and good
Mm-hmm.
support behind him, and then that race ended, and then let's see who was the next one. Oh, later on, Jim Bartlett ran for uh, DPI,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought he did a good job. He spoke better at other events I've been to, but he makes a lot of sense, and Baszler doesn't have it anymore, and she got clobbered pretty bad. But well, backing up, I guess I didn't. At the beginning of the convention, they spent about 2 hours on this whole District 37 debacle,
Mm-hmm.
and they basically were going to disqualify them from voting, and they took a vote to disqualify them, and some of the people felt bad because many of them came all the way from Dickinson and had the hotel room, so they did end up allowing them to vote. But man, was their debate good debate. It was fun. I liked it. I actually voted to have unlimited debate, but I was one of the only ones in our district. Everybody wanted to limit the debate
Mm-hmm.
so to 3 people on each side of the issue. But yeah, they ended up getting a vote. Many of them left. I think they out of that district. That they later on when they were voting, they were down to about 24 people, and I don't remember the number they started out with. It was quite a bit higher. So I wonder if some of them didn't leave because of the controversy and probably felt like they weren't welcome. But they they did the same thing as my old district did to me years ago. They had the whole the way I understand it, they had the delegate list all prepared beforehand, and didn't really want any other individuals to get on as delegates. So they were trying to control who gets in instead of the proper way is to take out everybody's name and then let the delegates vote on who gets to go. And they didn't. It sounds like they didn't do that right. So, and back in the day when that happened to us, we didn't get to. We didn't. I remember appealing to the state convention or the state party, but they wouldn't help us. So I was more than happy that they appealed to the state to the convention and asked for help because when these districts are corrupt like that, there's no recourse.
Mm-hmm. So now, was there a full slate of delegates for that district, or was there open seats, or because and the reason I'm asking is because I was watching some clips from even I think it was Scott Hannon who had John Hoven on, and their argument was is that they weren't even all the way full. That anybody who wanted to be a delegate for District 37 still could have went. Is there is there truth to that or not? Do we know?
I guess so, but when you get blocked out, especially in early January when they had their convention, I suppose they didn't plan to go, you know.
Gotcha.
If you're not going
Okay.
to get to vote and you're just going to be an alternate, you know, and it's a lot of money to spend and time off from work to go out there. And if you're not sure, then you probably figure, well, I'm not going to go then, and then
Right.
they probably had other people drop out. So yeah, they said they had empty delegate seats, but that's what I was thinking. If I was not for sure going to be get to vote, I surely wouldn't have gone.
Right.
So
So they
that's what I'm thinking happened, and I thought it was funny because later on the district, you know, they ended up messing up on their vote, and
I heard.
the crowd really booed them. A lot of people were hollering, "Go home!" You know,
That's funny.
it was the poetic justice to show that these guys, you know, they're out of control in that district. They need a different chair and they need a different leadership in there, and hopefully they'll work on that, getting some conservatives involved so they can take that district over because
Right.
they're they're uh, they're not capable of providing fair participation in their district.
Yeah, it's hard to get new people involved when you know, back to getting people involved. It's hard to get new people involved when you hear stories like this and it's like, okay, so do we even bother? Are we going to be taken for serious or not? I mean, what a debacle.
Well, yeah, and then I think back to the governor candidate for the Democrat side, Merrill Pepcorn. I remember him telling me that he used to be a Republican, and the same thing happened to in his district. He went there and they shunned him, and
Yeah.
said he didn't want to work to try to take him over. What he did is go and join the Democrat Party, and here now he's the governor candidate years later. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's not good to shun your people, and I don't know. I think socially he is more of a Democrat anyway, but I
Mhm.
know I was on tax and finance with him in the Senate, and we voted the same on a number of bills. And somebody made the comment, "You're voting with Merrill." I said, "No, he's voting with me, and I think he's more of a Republican than you are."
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh."
That's funny. Funny you bring him up because I think we're gonna try and get him on with us. That'll be an interesting conversation. You know, we've tried to get these people like Kelly Armstrong and Senator Kramer, but they don't want to be on for some reason, and I don't know. Maybe they think that we can't have a civil conversation, which I would beg to differ. But um, you know, we're gonna try and get everyone on, whether we agree with them or not. I mean,
Well,
I've
I think you'll like Merrill. I think he come from your country. He's from Crosby originally, or somewhere up there.
oh, okay,
Somewhere in your country. Maybe I
gotcha,
have the wrong town, but I know he's from up there, and his wife is from our area. She's from Wishick down here. And Merrill's a super nice guy.
cool.
I like him a lot. He's very down to earth, but like I said, socially he's quite liberal, and I think he'll get some votes because he's definitely against the carbon capture scam, and he's for property rights, and that's gonna really resonate with a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, that's good. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, we can get him on. I know Marvin's in talks with him, so hopefully we can get him on, and we'll see how it goes. So, but so we got Steve Nagel as the national committee man. We've got Lori is in committee woman,
oh yeah,
correct?
Lori didn't have a challenger, so
Yeah.
she won, of course, and then I can't remember the exact order, but yeah, they did Bartlett later, and he beat
Mm-hmm.
Baszler pretty even bigger than Steve Nagel beat Godel, which really surprised me because there I thought that so evidently evidently Baszler is not even liked by many of the people that supported Shane Godel, one of the more establishment types, you know, and so Bartlett won big.
A couple things on her. I think there's been a lot of information since the election season has begun coming out about our school system that obviously she's not really answering to, or I don't know what her strategy is. But the other thing is where is she? There's been a lot of these events that she hasn't shown up to. She's sent people that have not done her justice, and it's crickets. And I think people are catching on to what's going on.
Yeah,
Honestly, I think it was put to me that anybody but her would have gotten that nomination. So I'm glad to see that people are starting to see the light there. And I ain't taking anything away from Jim. He's been on the show. We hope to have him again as the election season goes on here. But I think that a lot of people are starting to really um, see the light. And the other thing is the property tax thing going on, and everybody's taxes are going up, and all of these schools want to build new schools. I mean, we got the dumpster fire going on in Williston and Harvey. I mean, you pick your town. I mean, we got there's just I mean, where do you begin, Jeff, with our education and our schools?
yeah.
It's
Well, that's a whole nother animal there to tackle. I
right.
have not been really involved in the education part of the state government. I've never wanted to be on the education committee. I've been focusing more on the energy and the commerce and
Yep.
things. I know the education is you're dealing with people's money and their kids, and it gets to be pretty controversial.
Yep.
I talked to a school board member. He called me this morning, and he said, "What's going on with that measure?" He goes, and a lot of these schools are being told to max out their mill levy so that they have extra
Mhm.
money if the measure passes. So what we're going to be seeing is a bunch of these local property taxes really going up this year because of the fact that everybody's trying to max out. So that measure is really going to, if it doesn't pass, it's really going to have a negative effect on property taxes, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. So, yeah, it was just a had a comment there about that. I think that it's a combination of things between the property taxes and the schools doing what they're doing. And then, let's face it, our scores aren't great, and she's nowhere to be seen. Just,
Yeah, well, the school system's been failing since I graduated in 1983, and a lot of the stuff that they're dealing with now was was being brought into the schools then already, and
yep.
it's been a real slow but sure process for the enemy that's trying to destroy our education system. They've
Hmm.
been taking small steps all these years. I remember going back to Goals 2000 when Bill and Hillary Clinton brought that program in, and I remember having the big fights at our school in there to keep that out, and that was a lot of the social, emotional type
Yep.
learning that they're pushing now. Then already, so
Hmm.
and so now here we are, 24 years since Goals 2000, and it's just been it's always a different name but the same program.
Hmm.
You know.
Well, let's circle back around to this and towards the end of the show here. I would like your comments on the rest of the convention, but there is something that I want to bring up with the DPI race that I don't think um, people are realizing about exactly what DPI does as well. So, but with that being said, let's move on here with the convention. So we got Jim Bartlett endorsed as the DPI, or I guess he's not really endorsed. What was it? A letter of
Letter
um
of support.
there you go, letter of support.
Yeah,
So,
nonpartisan position.
right.
So, but that it bears the same weight to you, really. I mean, it's
Mhm.
help bring out the money for him, and the staunch Republicans that are tend to support the endorsed, or in this case, the supported candidate. It's going to help him raise some money now, so it's important. Oh, I got to think here for a minute. What was the next move they made? They had. Did we vote on the? We voted on the electors, and that was because Jared nominated me. They asked me if I'd be willing to take the position. I said, "Well, sure, I will." And so I didn't know. They were a group of them talking around there on who should endorse who, and I said, "Well, I don't care who endorses me, but or nominates me, but I would surely do it." And anyway, Jared Hendricks ended up getting up nominating me, and then Dan Johnson got up and nominated Rick Becker. And the other three that were originally on the ballot was Kim Koppelman, Rich Wardner, and Linda Butts. I don't know Linda, but I know Wardner. But anyway, so then they had write-ins for me and Becker, so we did pretty good for having them get written in.
I've got the
knocking Butts and Wardner out, and it was pretty fun.
I see that
thing now. It was like, man, we're winning everything for once. It's a fair convention, a well-run convention, and we win when it's fair.
Right.
That's what I'll have to say. I don't have any complaints about the election at all, or the convention at all. I thought overall it was a blast and fair and fun, and it was nice to see everybody. The conservatives came out, and they show that we can win when our people come out.
Yep, that's for sure. So here's the picture of the national electors. So what does a national elector do for people who don't know?
Well, we just go out. We'll go to the Capitol and report, and that's for the electoral college. There's North Dakota has 3 votes on the electoral college, and so me and Becker and Kim Koppelman represent each one of our. You have 2 senators and a congressman, so technically those are our 3 votes for the electoral college. So we're the guys that'll go to the Capitol and report it to the Secretary of State when Trump wins so he gets those 3 electoral votes.
So it's Kim Koppelman, not Ben.
Yep, it's Kim.
Okay.
Yeah, Ben's dad. So
then
I don't know. I've never done this before. I don't know if there's any more to it than that, but and I need to do some more homework on that as well and learn exactly how that process is gonna go. But that will be in December, the way I understand it. After the election, we'll go in and report to the Secretary of State, and someone said, "Well, at least I know you guys won't flip your vote." The comment was, if Trump gets thrown in jail or something, are we gonna change our vote? Well, for one thing, I wouldn't anyway, but there's nobody else to change it to anyway.
So I have the other picture, Jeff, of the national delegates.
Yeah, so then after that they voted for national delegates, if I remember right, and that was the the sweetest part about it is nobody could ever remember a governor not being chosen as a delegate. And not only he didn't get chosen, but Armstrong didn't get chosen. I mean, they're alternates, but they're not the main delegates. And I was going to go. I was encouraged to go, but it's in July, and I'm usually haying, and we have a campaign going this year and all these other things, so I didn't sign up. But I sure regretted it when I seen that list of Patriots. I thought, oh my gosh, would that be fun going with them guys? I can imagine getting a busload of everybody in a bus and going out there and having a high old time. I hear it's going to cost every one of them between $3,000 and $5,000.
Oh wow!
But yeah, so look at that list of Patriots. Oh my, that's just a wonderful group.
So do they all go then, or how many?
The other ones are alternates. The ones that didn't, they're still going to be able to go, but they're not going to be able to vote.
Look at that: Kelly Armstrong, Kevin Kramer, John Hoeven, Doug Burgum, Chris Kramer, Curry Schaefer, Scott Hannon.
Yeah, Bernie Sanders, Scott Lauser. Yeah, they all got Yeah, and I don't know if I would go if I was on that list because you're going to spend a lot of money to go sit there. But I guess just to be there would be worth it. It's going to be in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
How many people actually get to vote then?
I think it was 27. You had those two first sheets show how many there
Okay,
were. I think it was. I thought it was 27 get to vote.
let's see here. Let's go. So that's the first page.
Yeah, that shows you who the most popular guy was. There was
16.
Josh Gallion and then Rick Becker
Yep.
and Koppelman. And Jeff Hins is very popular.
Yep.
Steve Nagel, of course. Dave Hogue. Dave did well. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
he's our Senate Majority Leader. He did better than I thought he would because he's kind of more in that establishment crowd a lot of times. But
Yep.
he's a heck of a good guy. And then Andrew Borneman, he's
Yep.
our treasurer in District 8, and he's on the state board now as the secretary. Did a wonderful job, wonderful. Jim Casper, Judy Estenson, Jared Hendricks, Dan Johnson, John Trandom, all good. Donna Henderson, Mary Grainer,
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Coleman, Wendy Johnson, all just good patriots. See, what do we got there? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
16, I
8,
think.
16 there.
And then all these. So there's 26
26,
altogether.
26 delegates. So, yeah, Wendy
Huh.
Bagley, she's very funny. She's a good, very good with Robert's rules. Paul Henderson, of course,
Yep.
good patriot. Annie Becker, Delvin Bam, wonderful person. Travis Zablotny, he's a bulldog. Brittany Bam, she's an awesome lady. Susie Oliver's done a heck of a job in that Fargo area. She came to our training out at the AMVETS years ago and went back to Fargo. I think she's from out West River originally, but anyway, she went back to Fargo and really went to work getting conservatives involved, and what a change they've made over there. Her and others, Jared Hendricks and a lot of the people that they got involved. Matt Heilman's a darn good legislature. Don
Mm-hmm.
Borneman is Andrew's mom, and we were teasing her. We said, "Just look at you beat Burgum, Kramer, Armstrong, all them guys in one fell swoop down." And she said, "I did, didn't I?" I'm like, "Yeah, you did." Oh, she's awesome. And then who else? Isaiah Deal. He's probably the only guy I don't know. And then Wendy
Mm-hmm.
Bagley. She's very, very good patriot as far as I know. She's from
Yep.
my.
Lives up there in Minot. Yep.
So anyway, I was just thinking, God, darn, I missed a good opportunity to go with a bunch of fun people. But I kind of thought it would go the other way before the convention. Who knew?
Yep.
I thought, if I go, I'll be sitting with Burgum and all them other guys, and that didn't seem too inviting. So, but
Yeah, I
anyway,
suppose not.
we really
It,
cleaned them up.
it just goes to show, when you put in the work, and we do the things that we need to do, anything can be accomplished. Because I know 2 years ago, even 4 years ago, when I first got involved with everyone, it was not looking good. And, 4 years into it, and, in another 2 to 4, and the party will look totally different if we keep it up.
Right?
And that's the thing, is I think we need to keep our noses to the grindstone and keep going. So,
Oh yeah,
but
we can never give up.
no.
We're winning now, and I think people are realizing that they like the conservative movement. They like what we're doing, and
Mm-hmm.
they're sick of them other people that are bought and paid for by Harold Ham and Doug Burgum and all these other the Bill Gates money and the
Oh,
stinking guy, stinking thinking or whatever they call him. And they're all bringing in money, dark money, China money for all we know. We don't know where it's coming from. And so, yeah, people are getting tired of that. They're tired of all this big money. I know I hear it all the time from the people I talk to. So,
mm-hmm.
a good, down to earth, solid candidate can win with a lot less money. and we'll find out when it comes to Becker's race there.
Well, speaking of that, obviously there was some controversy there, and I got a hold of a video of what Rick had to say after the first vote. So I'd just like to play the first few minutes of it, Jeff,
Sure.
and then we can talk some more about it here. Um, Here we go.
I would like to recognize microphone 3. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Privilege. Thank you. My name is Rick Becker, District 7. What I'd like to do
Walked right
is,
by the
I
establishment.
want to
That was
commend you
funny.
and the rest of the team for putting on a great convention. I had people contact me to say that they felt disenfranchised somewhat because of the rule. They wanted to know how they could continue to participate. I said, one thing you can do that is within the rules is to cast a spoil ballot. They've done that. I talked to my fellow.
Okay, please let him finish.
What I wanted to do is allow them to have their voice heard. That's all they want. They felt disenfranchised by the rule. Your voice has been heard. I'd like to encourage everybody to no longer cast spoiled ballots. Let's try and unify. I understand it seems that this is division, but what we have is a large segment that felt disenfranchised. Their voice has now been heard. Let's move forward. Cast your vote for either Julie or Alex or abstain, and let's have a good rest of the day.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So that was Rick, and after the first vote there, and so I guess we've had people. I mean, I know there's some people who were in favor of that. There's been people who weren't so liking of it. I don't know. My thing is I guess I kind of tend to agree with Rick on that. If people are like, and that's part of where we live in this country. We're supposed to be able to do that, right? We're supposed to be able to voice our opinions. Because I was sitting there 2 years ago when they stopped the whole convention for busloads of people to get off the bus, come in and vote, and then get on the bus again and leave.
Yeah.
And I didn't hear. Go ahead.
I don't think there was anything wrong with what they did. It's a convention. Anything goes at the convention. That's up to the convention. The power is the people, not the leaders that are up on the stage. And so it's a legal maneuver and it's a strategy. And I when I heard about it, I knew it was probably going to be not very well accepted by some people, but
Mm-hmm.
because some of them said, "Well, Rick knew the rules when he ran against Hogan, and he's just out." But there were a lot of Becker backers there, and they wanted their voice heard, and they did.
Mm-hmm.
It made it more fun, that's for sure. It was, and it did show that he had a lot of support there,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if I'm thinking that definitely helped Alex Blas win, and which is good because Julie Federchek is, in my view, I don't have a lot of faith in her. She's very liberal. She's all the green energy, got her whole electrical grid screwed up. With I don't know if she's ever voted against the windmill. She's got this carbon the sequestration or carbon disposal on her land. Did she know that project was coming and directed them to her land or into that area? We don't know. I mean, she's she's involved in some things that don't look very ethical to me. And she got humbled. There's no doubt about it because I think she thought she was going to come in there and walk away with it. I think Randy Crispin would have got beat too if there would have been we'd had a conservative public service commissioner because he's not been listening to the people very well.
No, he hasn't. He never has though for a long time.
So yeah, so there we could have took that position too, but anyway, yeah, it was a, and then Rick got up and then he said, "Go ahead and finish the convention," and
Hmm.
he got some booze out of there and some people yelling at him, but it's politics, man. He
Yep.
he's got a thick skin. He can handle it, and if there's, I think it helps him. I really do. So.
Yeah, I would agree. And I guess to the people that think that it wasn't the right thing to do, or however you might want to say that, or, a lot of the people that contacted me were very proud and very positive about this convention. And, there was some that were just, they frowned upon it. And I guess my advice to them would be, y- we just got to keep going. We got to build on this. I mean, we can always agree to disagree, right? I mean, even myself, I'm guilty of that as well. I haven't agreed with everything that the grassroots movement has come up with. That the Marvin and I took it on the chin when we didn't have exactly positive things to say about the Election Integrity Act. We were just pointing some things out that we were concerned about, and yeah, we had some people get a hold of us. And so, but at the end of the day, I hope that we can agree to disagree and keep the party moving, because it's very much alive, I do believe,
Oh
from
yeah, yeah.
the what I've heard from people that were there, and even some of the people that weren't. And I think I think people are taking a deep breath and getting ready to run with this.
Oh yeah. The movement is going. The movement isn't dependent on certain people anymore. The movement is of itself, and as long as we have people that keep coming to getting in the arena with us, we've
Yep.
shown we can win. And so. And that's what people need to see, because as long as they have hope that they can win, they'll be willing to jump in, because running
Mhm.
a political race is not easy. It's very exhausting, it's expensive, and time consuming, and it's hard to get anything else done, but it's
Yep.
it's necessary. It's a duty. It's a civic
Hmm.
duty. And so I didn't serve in the military, so I've always felt like I should do my civic duty, and how am I supposed to say I support the veterans and then not protect the homeland here and work hard to exercise the rights that they've given some of them given their lives and their bodies for, and sacrifice for us, and then to just sit here and not get involved and further the or protect what America is all about and North Dakota is about, is that's not honoring them. That's dishonoring them to sit on the couch and complain without being involved. So very impressed with the movement we have going on, and we're not going to change everything overnight. We have to stay
Right.
vigilant and committed. And some people are going to wear out. We see some people that are just tired and they got to take a break, or they have a health issue or a family
Mhm.
issue. But we need other people coming to the fight.
Yep.
Getting in. And when you see somebody that can't, keep going at it, and somebody else has to get in, we have to keep working. We're gaining ground, Shiloh. There's no
I
doubt.
agree.
Yep,
Even from 2 years ago, it was, it was,
huge. Yeah,
it
and then
was,
we were in Fargo. I mean, these guys. We had people like from your district was full. I mean, very
yep.
impressed. Very impressive. We had people Fargo districts. Some of them only had probably 7, 8, 9 votes, whatever it was, and
Mm.
your guys' district
They
is so
showed up.
impressive, so impressive.
Yep.
What a bunch of conservatives! I went over by them, and we had 7 votes, I think, in District 8 for Shane Godel, and Steve Nagel's from Emmons County, and I was over by you guys, and they said, "Oh, you guys are getting soft over there. We only had 1 vote for Shane Godel, and we know who he is." I said, "Well, I don't know who all ours are. I know who some of them probably are, but anyway, everybody can vote for who they want." But it was funny because He's definitely established. Well, he's the guy that was part of the hit attacks on many of us 2 years
Mm-hmm.
ago. And that was another thing that he sits as national committee man, and then he attacks endorsed candidates with this that group he's got using dark money. He
Mm-hmm.
should have been run out on the rail 2 years ago already, or even 4 years ago. Well, I think this they call him the stinking thinking. I think he sold out to them guys, and then they were doing the same crap.
Yeah.
And they should have been kicked in the teeth and sent packing because they're enemies. Obviously, if they're going to attack endorsed candidates, and then to go to the national level representing our party. I
Yeah.
mean, how that is about as unethical as you can get. It's just slimy, man. I just really bothers me that people are like that.
No, I agree. I agree. It seems like it's going. I was very pleasantly surprised at all the comments and conversations I was having with people during the convention, even after the convention on Saturday night and Sunday, and so I'm very very happy, and I'm committed to helping as much as I can, and District 2, that is they're a great bunch. They're very strong and very what's the word I'm looking for? Persistent, and they all do a very good job, and that's one of the things like you were talking about, Jeff, especially up there when one of us has to take a break, another one steps in, and it seems to work that way, and so it's a very good district to be a part of, and I'm happy to be a part of it, and I'm proud of what they did this time, even though I wasn't able to be a part of it.
Yeah, you
So
should be. That's probably the most. I mean, District 8 is we have such a good District 2, and but your District 2 is very very admirable, very admirable.
mhm.
And a lot of the other ones were too. I'm not just saying they
Yep.
are. I would have to give them number one and us number two. I think we got beat out on the
Mhm.
conservative vote there in some of them. You could just listen to the districts report their vote totals, and you knew who the good ones were and who the ones that were more establishment. And it was, but yeah, they see us coming now.
Yep.
Yeah, they see it.
Well, y- I think 2 years ago it was kind of a wake up call for them. They knew they still had us by a bit, but the sneak attack, if you want to call it that, or however you want to say it, it was over because they knew we were coming. They just didn't know. I don't think they were bargaining for what they got for this year. That's for sure. So.
Well, and they don't have the young candidates like we have, and with term limits now. I mean, with all the young Republicans coming in, it's where I mean they don't have them. I don't see them have. They have some, but not like we have. And ours
Hmm.
are very principled and good, nice people. Very exciting.
Yep.
Yeah, I think in about another couple election cycles, we're gonna really see the effects of the conservative movement we have going in North Dakota. We're gonna be much happier. A happier, more joyful state. We're not gonna have all these Bergamites trying to destroy everything and pushing their green agenda and their carbon scams and go back to doing things that make sense. Like
Right.
having a good solid electrical grid, having good roads, good infrastructure, fix up a lot of these old bridges that need fixing and have freedom. Have the sense of having freedom, property rights again. We got to start fixing this property rights. The
Yep.
attack on property rights right now is just unbelievable. And they're using
Mhm.
this carbon capture scam to do it.
Oh man, it's
Well,
unbelievable.
yeah, what's happening? And then, the other question is, can they steal my carbon? They're talking about putting these air to air carbon removal units up. They're technically stealing my carbon. Why the heck should they be able to take my carbon from me And then what? I have to go buy fertilizer to feed my plants, and then they're going to own the fertilizer too that I got to go buy from after they use my tax money to capture my carbon.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one thing we found out. This is a really interesting thing. This guy, he got. I don't know how many people are familiar with the amalgamation, but that law is going to get challenged coming up in probably June. The Northwest landowners are suing the State Industrial Commission because they have this law. North Dakota has a law called amalgamation. If they get 60% of the landowners to sign up in a disposal area, the other 40% have to go in. Well, this guy contacted me a couple weeks ago, or it was actually about a week and a half ago, and he says, "Listen to this contract. He got amalgamated. They didn't want to sign up, and his mother has 1,200 acres in this amalgamated area. So it says in the contract that after 12 years, the substance that they're injecting in the pore space becomes property of the state of North Dakota."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Well, how does that work? Because pore space can't be separated from surface. That's state law." So I had legislative counsel research it for me, and he said, "Yeah, the state of North Dakota takes possession of the substance, but they've never seen a contract that said they get the pore space as well." And then he said there's another law. He said that they can take the substance, but there's another law that says the pore space cannot be severed from the surface. So the lawyer up there says it looks to me like they're taking possession of this lady's surface. So the state of North Dakota stealing her land, and they're going to pay 2.55 cents for disposal. That's per metric ton for disposal of CO2, but yet they're getting $85 per metric ton in 45Q tax credits. So this is going to be coming out in the press. Yeah, this is the biggest land grab. This carbon capture. That Burgum and them, that bunch pushing that are nothing but thieves. They're legalized thieves, and they'll steal your property if they can. That's how bad these people are, and they don't even feel guilty about doing it. And they're trying to make people like me that are speaking out against it like we're bad. Oh, I tell you that I don't know how they can live with themselves. But
I
anyway,
hear you.
we're getting way in the weeds here, Shilo.
That's all right. It's all right. Wherever we need to go, bud.
Carrie Kettle Court had a question or something, and
Yeah, she no, it was Annie.
Oh,
what did she say?
Smart pick for. Oh, I was talking about
about the lieutenant governor.
The lieutenant governor. I served with her in the House. Very liberal. She has a -27 on the Mike Bussum Legend 8 scorecard. She's a super nice lady. She's was a good pick for Kelly because Fargo is liberal, and she's a daughter-in-law to Earl Strinden, who was in politics for a number of years. He used to be the House Majority Leader. Her husband's, I think he's an ophthalmologist. He's probably pretty well known. The family's well connected, probably a lot of money there. Very nice lady. I mean, I can't say anything bad about her other than she votes very liberal. So if they win, she'll be president of the Senate and presiding over the Senate. And I think she's a real good choice for him. I think he needed to get a female from Fargo. We all knew that. And he did what we were thinking he needed to do. And he's going to clobber her now because this Josh Teagan is just a liberal little Burgumite. He said he's never had a job other than working for Doug Burgum. And I originally she had picked Mayor Decker from Dickinson, and evidently I heard that people really jumped on him being Kelly's from Dickinson. And evidently he's turned her down, or what happened there. I haven't heard any discussion on what happened, but then she turned around and picked this Josh Teagan last Friday, and he's head of the Commerce Department, and yeah, not good. No, she's done. Yeah, she
Well,
can. She
I'm
wants.
curious
So.
to hear what you think of of all these races. What mostly, well, let's just say the governor's race, and then we got Kevin Kramer who's running unopposed.
Kevin
I
Kramer.
mean,
Kevin Kramer's got Hurricane Katrina going against him in the general.
mhm,
Katrina Christensen, she's the one that was in the race last year against
yeah.
election against Becker and Hoven. And
But I mean, is that all we really have as conservatives is Kevin Kramer? Because we pretty much know what he is. He's proven it time and time again, and I don't think that it's for the conservative movement.
well,
I
I
mean,
would have rather seen a conservative run, and a conservative would have beat him, but we didn't have anybody, so he's
yeah,
what we got. He's.
yeah,
I would have said he's more good than bad not long ago, but he went and started pushing that carbon tax, and that's bad. I mean, he's been on the right side of some things, but he's falling into this carbon thing because anybody that's getting into that is benefiting financially from it. That's the
mhm,
only reason they're supporting it. So he's
yeah.
obviously on somebody's payroll on that. So that tells me he's fell off the edge.
Some would
But
say even the Ukraine thing too, though, because let's face it, we're not getting all the facts there either. And as far as a lot of people are concerned, I mean, we've got pictures of most of our Congress over there. I mean, most of our politicians, however you want to say that. I mean, dating back from even John McCain, it all starts back from when they were selling uranium and buying uranium when the Clinton days were going on. And let's be honest, Ukraine isn't exactly, um, how do I say this? Uh, the right ones in this fight.
well, I never could figure out for years why they were taking cattle over there and going over to the Ukraine and teaching them how to
Mm,
farm big and sending all this good equipment over there, and they
mhm,
got them as competitors. I never could understand that because my family, my ancestors came from that area that south of there. That
mhm.
well, they were from the Alsace-Lorraine, France area, but there's on my mom's side, they came from the Ukraine, and them people they killed our ancestors that didn't leave. They did unspeakable things to the women that stayed there, and the rest of them left. They got the heck out of there and came over here because they could have a fresh start with new land. But and
Yeah,
then here we're over there spending all our money defending them. I don't know. I mean, I really don't know all the ins and outs of that deal. I've heard a lot of different things,
mhm,
and Zelensky, I've heard all kinds of strange things about him, and I guess I would I've never. There's not enough time in the day with all the stuff going on in this state
right.
alone to immerse myself into what's going on over there. But that's just my thinking right off the bat is why are we spending all our money to support the people that literally kicked our ancestors out of that area
Yep.
and like I said, probably stole their land, taxed them to death, killed them, and So anyway, I got a big problem with that. I guess why are we spending all this money all over the world when we need to? We got a country here to defend, and we got
Take
to
care of our own.
open borders. I mean, it doesn't make any sense that he's voting for that.
Yeah,
If
I don't.
we can't take care of our own country first, there's an old saying: take care of yourself first before you go try to help somebody
Yeah,
else. Because if you're weak, you can't really help anybody else anyway. So you destroy yourself, and then they get destroyed. The whole works goes down.
yeah. And the ironic thing about it is, Jeff, is the people that were letting in and the people that were supposedly helping and this and that, they don't care. And as soon as they can, I don't think the liberals understand that they're gonna kill them anyway. I mean, that's their culture. These people that are coming across the border, it's their culture. And I don't think, I mean, I don't know, I know it's conspiracy theories type stuff, but it really isn't. If you look at these cultures that are coming over here, I mean, pick one of them. They're all the same. They don't like Americans. and that's why they're here. And as soon as they can jump on us, that's what the overall goal is. And I don't think it's just amazing to me that the people that are defending bringing immigrants over here, and fine, if you're going to do it the right way and be a part of society and contribute, I don't have a problem with it. Don't have a problem with it. But what's going on with our borders and all that good stuff, it's a big, big problem, and it's a lot bigger than some people, I think, really realize.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I've watched videos. This old rancher down in Arizona showing how these Chinese young men, all dressed in fatigues, coming across his land, entering. Now, I had gotten a report that they were flying them into Bismarck and loading them up on buses and taking them to Williston and putting them in them apartments up there to because there's such a big vacancy for one thing, and the other reason is to get workers up there. I actually checked with BCI today, as a matter of fact, and they said that they don't keep track of that. That's Homeland Security. And I said, well, who is supposed to be watching this? Because I got a call yesterday while I was in Fargo. My brother and me were driving around there, and there was a whole bunch of them, people, and we stopped at one of the restaurants, me and the wife, and most of them were, I don't know if they could speak any English, but anyway, my brother said he heard that they were bringing them into Fargo as well. But BCI says they don't know, and then I'm supposed to check with Homeland Security, and they're saying that, well, there's a lot of rumors and gossip. They know they did bring a bunch of them up to Williston, but those are not the ones that came in illegally. Those were brought in here, and they're trying to get them settled up there to help with the workforce shortage. But I don't trust any of this stuff anymore. You just don't know that everything is so corrupt.
Well, I live up here, and I haven't seen any of them doing any work. So
Have you seen any influx of people coming in, or
very much so.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing too. And they're saying, oh no, they're all here all legally. And I know a guy that works at one of the clinics in Bismarck, and he said just recently they brought about 20 of them in to get all their shots. I said, well, could any of them speak English? He said some of the younger ones could, but the older ones can't. He was asking me too, well, where are they putting all these people? I said, I don't know. And he's like, you're a senator for the state of North Dakota and you don't know? I said, yeah, isn't that weird? I mean, and it doesn't matter who you ask, you get to run around. I don't know. I can't, sit besides sitting up there and spying on the airport and watching.
Right.
If they're bringing people in, I don't know. I think they are, because we're seeing them everywhere. Me and the wife went to San Antonio, Texas a while back, and on the way up, we made a point to talk to people when we'd see them that didn't look like they were natives and natives of America, and a lot of them would just put their hands up like, I don't know what you're saying. I was astounded by all the different people we ran into, even at the hotels we stayed at, and it just didn't feel right anymore like it used to feel when we'd been down there before, and further north we got, the better I felt.
And the sad thing is, Jeff, it's not just here. Like we've been saying, it's all over. I mean, I've got friends all over the country through the horse business and different things, and what they're going through down in Texas down there. I've got family down there. Even Arizona and California, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad. And then of course California, you aren't gonna get any help because that's what they want. But at any rate,
I got a report on all the states, and North Dakota is the lowest with illegal. According to this report that somebody sent me, and I don't know how accurate it is, but they said North Dakota has 7,000 illegals, and we're the lowest. And I think South Dakota has about double that, about 14,000 illegals. But when they got into them bigger states where they can really hide them, they were getting into the 50 and 60,000s. I mean, and if these people, like you said, rise up, they might have a certain date picked to say, hey, this is the day we're all going to rise up. I mean, they could we could be looking at a major civil war here, and I mean it's not totally unlikely.
Mm-hmm.
And these, like you say, these Chinese, they years ago, a lot of them aborted their girls, so they had all these men. So now they're sending them over here, and they'll try to take over here, and then, whew, could be a lot of.
It kind of goes back to this, in my opinion, Jeff. And even like with the convention, you can think on it however you want, but it's not a Democrat versus Republican thing. It's a good versus evil. And I know I've said this many times on the show and everywhere that I can. It's good versus evil. And that day to where you're going to have to choose, it's coming.
Yeah, it surely is. I
It's
see it.
coming.
Yeah, it looks like it. Well, politics is evil, inherently evil too. Our founders said that
Yep.
government is a necessary evil to be chained down by the Constitution. So that's why people are, they don't like politics, a lot of them, because it gives you that icky feeling. But I
Yep.
didn't have that icky feeling last weekend. I had a good feeling.
Good.
It felt good. And so I see that. And another thing I noticed, all three candidates that won big all invoked the name of Jesus Christ in their speech.
Yep.
Because that Alex Blas said to me at the end, he goes, maybe it was me talking about my dog. I said, I think, that, of course, that's good. That resonates with people because, especially me, I'm a dog guy. But anyway, I actually got a really nice cat now from my neighbor. He's been my best friend, but I'm not really a cat guy, but this cat's pretty cool. I call him Orangey. He's an orange cat. But anyway, my point to him was, no, you said the name of Jesus Christ in your speech. And Bartlett did, and Steve Nagel did, and Steve even read Ephesians 6:10-20, which is, of course, one of the passages in the Bible that we actually had on our campaign card years ago. And he talks about standing. You don't need to do nothing but stand. As long as you're working for the Lord, you stand, and it'll do good. So anyway, he read that, and it was very inspiring. These guys, and that Christ was there. Christ was there. That was that was, like I said, I felt good. I felt good all weekend. It was very refreshing. I'm really inspired, Shilo. I felt good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you and I, we've kind of had conversations, not kind of, we have had multiple conversations on this subject and different things. And, I've told you my story and different aspects of my life and that, and that is, it's pretty awesome to feel that way, especially, let's face it, when you're in the eye of, I don't want to say the enemy, but I don't know how you would say that, but when your armor is up and your guard is up and you're ready to do battle, and you can feel like that, that's an awesome feeling.
Well,
And
I always tell everybody before they go into a political battle, put the armor on, or even if you're going in the Capitol or anywhere, put the armor of the Lord on, and it makes a difference. Those fiery darts get deflected. It's amazing. If I forget to put the armor on, I can feel it. Oh, you just feel the pain, and then you just remember, put the armor on, and it makes a big difference. And yeah, the Christians are rising up, and this is a Christian country. And Obama and them guys are trying to say, well, it's not a Christian country anymore, but it is. This is the last bastion of Christians, and that's why they want to destroy us so bad, because the devil has power on the earth. For some reason, he was given that power. And remember when Christ was on his 40-day fast and the devil was offering him all the kingdoms. He couldn't offer them all the kingdoms if he didn't have them. So this is what we're fighting. Like you said, good versus evil, because the devil has the kingdom and we're trying to take it back. And whether it's the state government or the federal government. So we have to continually fight back against The devil, because where the Spirit of the Lord is, there you'll find, that's where you're going to find your liberty. That's where liberty is. And so without the Spirit of the Lord there, you're going to find tyranny. And that's what we're seeing, because the Christians haven't been rising up. There's these people that say Christians shouldn't be involved in politics. I say, yeah, that's the devil telling you that. That's the devil telling you, oh, Christians shouldn't be involved. Well, of course, if you're the enemy, you're going to tell them, try to, discourage them from being involved. And so, yeah.
Where does our government come from? It comes from the Bible. I mean, even the Mayflower Compact is part of that. So, and a lot of people don't know that as well. But at any rate,
Well, even our military is based on the Bible. Back when Moses, he had the captains of 1,000, the captains of 100, whatever, however, all your platoons, everything, all your military is set up based on the Bible. That's all biblical. Yeah, them guys knew what they were doing. We're the ones that don't know what we're doing.
we're messing it up.
We got to get back to the basics, to the fundamentals. What do you do when you're in sports and you're not winning? All of a sudden, when I was in wrestling, I remember you start doing these fancy moves, and all of a sudden you get in trouble. What did the coach say? Go back to the fundamentals. You hear that in basketball, whatever it is. Now in government, go back to your fundamentals. We don't need to be into everything. The government doesn't need to be creating business. That's fascism. And I always tell this story about this World War II veteran, old Ed Schmidt. He was, every time I think of him, I get a little bit choked up. But anyway, when I first ran for government, he said to me, Jeff, I'll support you, but he said, whatever you do, make sure you fight against fascism. He said, I see it coming here now. And he said, I want you to fight against it. And this carbon capture is a perfect example of fascism, like Summit Carbon Solutions. That business is created on tax credits. It's a government created corporation, and they're attacking property. So literally the fascist government, but old Ed, he was there when they hung Mussolini over in Italy, and he said those Italians were so grateful to the Americans because Mussolini was a tyrant, and his whole government was set up on government and business working hand in hand, and they were just taking advantage of all the people. And the Americans freed them during World War II. They freed the Italians. And old Ed, he was one of them gunners on the bottom of the plane, if I remember right. And he always carried a picture of Mussolini hanging in his pocket, in his shirt pocket. And he showed it to everybody, but he's gone now. Old Ed.
Yeah.
But yeah,
unfortunately, he's right.
Well, that's one of the reasons I'm fighting so hard against this fascism, and because I see it's just all over. Burgum's the biggest fascist of them all. He continually talks about public-private partnerships. It's all fascism. They're using government money. The windmills. It's all on government money. Every one of them windmill companies is a fascist company. And what are they doing? They're screwing everything up. They're messing up the electrical grid. They're stealing property. And then they're bringing the Chinese in.
Yep. It's all part of the bigger plan, right? I mean, that's what a lot of people, I think, are missing in all of it. I mean, even when there was some of us going out there to Grand Forks to fight the Fu Fang deal. I unfortunately was not a part of that, but there was a lot of our people that went out there from this area multiple times. And I guess my point to that is that's what that whole deal was about. In the end, it was about the resources, whether you're talking about the land, you're talking about the corn that was supposed, so you got a food source, and then the amount of water that it would take to run that place. When you're talking more water than the city of Grand Forks uses.
Fu Fang was a perfect example of a fascist system. They were bringing literally using fascism, using government money to
Mhm.
bring the Chinese in, right up by the air base. I mean, how
Mhm.
irresponsible and incompetent can that? And that's as incompetent as it gets.
Right.
And this pipeline is no different. They're bringing the Chinese right in here. They're going to have dominant authority over that whole pipeline corridor.
Yep. And
And a
that's
lot
what.
of that goes on state school land. So, so we're letting them assert power over our own state. How crazy is that?
Yeah. So what does that really mean when you say that it's on state school land? I mean, what is? Because I don't think the common person knows what that means, Jeff. What
Well,
does
they're
that
going to
mean?
run the pipe through the state school land. Every township has two sections of school land, and that land, the money from that land, that they rent that land out. I actually rent 2/4 of state school land, and then that money they get in rent is supposed to go to the schools. And so now you have the Chinese owning a pipeline that runs through state school land. So and when they sign that lease, they assume dominant authority, meaning if there's anything you want to do on their land, that land you have to get their permission first before you can even go to your local zoning board. If you want to build a house on that land, or well, you're probably not going to build on state land anyway, but if you want to do anything on that land, then you have to get their permission first. If
So
it's a
and
private land, if you wanted to build a house on there, or put up a tree row or
mhm.
whatever you want to do, put up a pole barn, you have to get their permission first. That's what dominant authority means.
Right. I was just gonna get to that point to ask you that then too. So, and I don't think, I don't think that registers with um most people, but maybe it's starting to now because how long has this fight been going? We're going on a couple years, aren't we? I
Well,
mean,
but the windmills has been longer than that.
right, the windmills
Many of
obviously.
them windmill areas, they're anti-hunt. You can't hunt around them windmills without their permission. And there are a lot of them. I was by the ones over by Beulah. They got all there. Those are and no gun zones. What do they call them? Gun free zones.
Yeah.
They got some big signs. No guns. I mean, seriously, they're anti Second Amendment areas, right in the heart of North Dakota. And people seem to be okay with that because they're getting money.
Right.
That's all it is. It's the greed, the corruption that's destroying us. They got to have more money, more money. In the end, that money isn't going to mean nothing when you don't have any freedom, because property rights is the number one freedom, because that's the only place you have the right to exclude. And you can exclude them with violence if you want, but you can't do that anywhere else. Everywhere else you go, you're subject to someone else's property rights. And so that's why it's number one. That's the only place you truly have Second Amendment rights. You truly have First Amendment freedom of speech. But without property rights, you don't have any of those, because you go, where do you go? If I go to your house and you say I don't want your gun in my house or on my land, I have to listen to you. But on
Mhm.
my land, I can have my guns and do what I want. That's up to me. So that's why they're attacking property rights. And people, there is a goal of having 30% of the land under federal control
Mhm.
by 2030, and then by 2050 they want 50%. And like I was telling you about that guy with that bizarre contract,
Yep.
it's just right there. They're stealing his mom's land. And he
Mhm.
said to me, he was supposed to come to the convention as a delegate, and he goes, "I'm not coming out there." And I said, "You could be talking to all these legislators." He goes, "I'm not going to waste my time with them. You wasted your time last winter up at the Capitol fighting against them and trying to convince them. They're all so dang corrupted and money hungry that he's not going to go out there and waste his time, waste his breath." And
Energy. Yep.
can't really argue about that.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that people feel that way.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand it, but it's really that's how that's how messed up this whole deal is. So,
Well, I know people that have given in on that have been eminent domain because their comment is the state's not going to defend them anyway, so they might as well just give in and take the money, all the money they can get. And I can't really argue with that. Our
Right.
state legislator is not standing up for property rights. I proved that last winter with all the bills I had in the Senate. We just couldn't get no traction. Then the comments were, oh well, let's let the courts decide. Well, the problem with that is manyfold. One of them is you're letting the judges legislate from the bench. Number two is the people that are getting wronged have to come up with a pile of money to try to defend their land. Why should they do that? That's our job. Our job as legislators is to protect their property. That's in our Constitution and in our oath. Life, liberty, and property. It's right in the North Dakota Constitution. And for us to not do our duty is it's just, there's so many, I would call them treasonous, but I still got to work with them. But it's just like,
Well, we're giving away our generational promise. I mean, the good Lord gave us that, and that's the other thing that people aren't realizing is the with property rights, and that is we're giving away our generational promise.
Those rights are inalienable. Inalienable rights are given by God, and they can't be taken away or given up. You realize you really can't give up your rights. I mean, they're God given. They're not given by man, and man has no right to try to take them away. But if we, all it takes for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing.
Yep.
You know,
very much so. So one thing I want
men got to stand up. Men have been beat down and beat down and beat down. The tough guys, the guys that are more macho, have been ridiculed and attacked men don't want to be men anymore because they're just going to get attacked.
Yep.
Men need to stand up. I'm not talking about being abusive to anybody, but I mean to reestablish what a man is. Stand up for your family, for the women. The women like strong men, the good women. They don't like weak men, but we need to stand up for ourselves and our families and for God. Man was made first for a reason. It's not evil to say that because he made man and he made woman for man, and we're supposed to defend them women. And are we defending them by letting all these invaders come in here? Look what could happen to them women if these people rise up. So
it's funny.
Think about that.
It's ironic that you say that, Jeff, because I just had a conversation this afternoon with one of my coworkers, and we were talking about that, and we were talking about this Ukrainian Russian thing and different things, and how it is over in some of these other countries where if you do something to a woman in another country, and the men aren't going to take it very well. They will stand up for them, and here it seems like if you try and do that, the law tries to step in and says you can't do that. Just case in point, like when we were talking about it, he brought up the fact that he was in a restaurant, and this was down south somewhere, and there was a person down there, and he wasn't eating. I mean, he was just being rude and disrespectful and different things, and he asked the waitress to have the guy removed, and she goes, well, I can't. And the reason is because we would be called racist then, because obviously he was I guess it left that part out, but he was of different ethnic and different things like that. And so he goes, well, that's really unacceptable, because he goes, I'm willing to bet money that if I were to act and carry on the way that gentleman is, you guys would have no problem kicking me out of here.
Yeah, no doubt.
And so,
well, I always say I'm a racist. I used to be the fastest man in Hazelton. I used to win the men's race at our community days every year for a number of years. I love running races. I got friends of all colors. I don't know. I get along with people, and
I do too.
some
Yep.
white people I don't get along with, and there's black people probably I wouldn't get along with, or Indians, whatever. But I even
Yep.
employed a couple Indians. I really enjoyed them guys,
Yep.
and I got nothing against any of them if they want to do the right things and
Yep.
don't try to attack my rights. I'm fine with them,
That's.
But yeah,
I agree with you there.
and I don't begrudge these invaders really, because we're the stupid ones that are letting them in.
Yeah.
I mean, even if they are legitimately looking for a new life, I don't begrudge them for that.
Mm-hmm.
We can't blame them for that. Now the ones that are maybe have ill intentions, well then that's another story.
Right.
But there's some of them I think probably have a good heart and coming in, and it's just unfortunate that they're not doing it the right way and trying to become part of our culture instead of trying to make us part of their culture.
Yep. That's a fact. So, one thing I wanted to talk about while I have you on here is, we've talked a little bit about that DPI race, and we don't, we hear about the scores and different things like that. I get that, but I think some of the other part of that job is that nobody's talking about is what exactly, because that position is on a number of boards as well.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
I wanna share this. Just a second. Give me a second here, Jeff, and I'll share this. Um, it's right here. So down here, this is off the North Dakota.gov DPI page. It says, in addition to the Department of Public Instruction, the superintendent oversees the State Library, North Dakota School of Deaf Resources, Center of Deaf and Hard of Hearing, Devil's Lake. The superintendent is a member of numerous state boards, including the Board of University and School Lands. We were kind of talking a little bit about that, weren't we?
Yeah, they're the
Um,
ones that are in control of the state school lands.
the Teachers Fund for Retirement, the Education Standards and Practices Board, the Board of for Career and Technical Education, and the State Educational Technology. So that's some of it, and I want to share this other because I want people to see who else is a part of that board. And that would be this one. All right. So, Board of University and School Lands. So, these people here are also all involved in that board.
See, that's
So,
we need to be taking over. Look at that group.
yep. Now,
There's not one of them on there that I can trust.
and here's the problem when we talk about these races. Like, I know Marvin got in late for the Michael Howe deal for the Secretary of State. But up until this year, I don't think Kirsten Baszler had an opponent, did she?
No, look at that. If we would have taken over the governor with a conservative and Marvin
Yep.
was Secretary of State, and you get Bartlett in there for public instruction, that's your 3 votes you need right there.
Yep.
Then you can do something.
But as you can see, all of these positions, we don't have a conservative candidate. I'm sorry, we don't.
Where we need to work on. We need to get these state like Jim Bartlett's working on. That's just like Dan Johnson would have been state treasurer. That would be another conservative we would have had on. I don't know if you can find a decent conservative attorney to be attorney general.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Well, that's kind of an oxymoron, isn't it? No pun intended,
Just
but
remember what the Lord said to the lawyers. Whoa.
yeah.
That in the Bible, he says, "Woe unto you, lawyers." What does he mean by that? What do you say to your horse? Whoa, stop. He said they're willing to put a heavy burden on men's back and won't lift one finger to help them carry it, and that's a fact. Them lawyers, they're most of them. There's some good ones. Derek Broughton, thank goodness for him, and
Mm-hmm.
Brian Jordy out of Nebraska that are helping us. And I mean, there's some good ones. Baki out of Bismarck's a good one. Lad Erickson, I think he's a pretty good guy up there in Washburn. There's some good ones, guys. Whoever your lawyer, if you ever hear this video, I'm not down on all of you. There's still some good ones.
That's for sure. There's good in everything, but it's just that's the problem though, is they've taken it on the chin so much because of all the bad ones.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
it's like legislators. I tell
yeah,
people I'm a legislator that don't know me, and they go, "Oh, I mean, nobody likes legislators anymore. We've got such a bad reputation that
yeah.
it's going to be tough to get that back." 'Cause the Senate should be running the state, and the Senate is very capable of running the entire state and overruling the governor. But there's another deal that Burgum is so corrupt. When he started interfering in the elections, that's right in the Constitution. The governor was supposed to be impeached as soon as he started meddling in the
Mm-hmm.
elections.
We're
It's highly illegal, but I tried to start an impeachment on him about 4 years ago, but I just couldn't get the votes. So I thought, why bother? If you're going to go in
mm-hmm.
and try to make a big fight and you don't have the votes, you got to have the votes to take on something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
he's a very corrupt individual.
Yeah, that's so. No, I agree. So, well, I really appreciate your time, and it's always fun. We usually seem to go down a few rabbit holes when we're together, and I appreciate that, Jeff. I really do. So I
Okay, good.
can't thank you
Good,
for your
good. So I'm
time.
not fired.
You're not well, you and Marvin, I tell you what. No, you're not fired. Not that I
Okay.
could fire you. So,
Well, I
but,
know, but I want you to have me back on again sometime. I enjoyed talking to you, and I hope I can share. I hope I shared some knowledge with others that they can put to good use. And
I
if
think you
if
did.
they don't believe me, check it out. And
Hmm.
and I do need some new conspiracies, by the way. Most of my other ones came true.
Yeah. Well, we got an election coming up. I imagine there's going to be some more. So
Right, right.
that's for sure. But no, I really appreciate you being on. Is there anything that you want to say to us conservatives out there that are, you know, I don't know, thinking about getting involved or however you want to say that, or don't have much faith in the North Dakota GOP right now? Is there anything that you'd like to say to them?
Well, I would just like to tell everybody, if you're not in the fight, get in the arena, no matter where it is. It doesn't have to be state legislature or statewide race. The local government, county is the best place to be. You're home every night, but you're involved all the time. You can really make a difference. Get in the arena, no matter if it's city board, township, whatever. We need help. We
Mm-hmm.
need like-minded people to keep coming into getting in the fight, because it's going to take a long time to get this thing back, because we've been incrementally winning. We've
Mm-hmm.
seen a big movement this last weekend, but they're going to fight back. The Empire will fight back. So
Yeah.
to keep on it, and Lord willing, I'll be in 4 more years, and I'm done. I term out, and I'm done with state legislature. So we need people coming in that are going to be conservative, try to hold the line. I hope that people are satisfied with my service. That I've tried to I've done my best to vote right and represent the people. And we need other people that are going to do that too, not just go in there for the money and
Mm-hmm.
vote with the lobbyists. So just stay fired up. Don't give up. Be discouraged. I mean, there's going to be days you feel discouraged, but uh,
Yep.
stay fired up and stay in the Lord, and he'll carry us through.
I
That's
agree.
about all I got. Other than there's a big energy meeting tomorrow at the Capitol. By the way, it starts at 8 in the morning. They're going to be talking about carbon capture. Bergham's talking. Lynn Helms is talking, and then later they're going to be talking about nuclear. So it'll be, you can watch it on the internet. Just go on North Dakota Legislative Branch, click on calendar, and the meeting will come up, and you can click on video and watch it. So anyway,
Well, I for one appreciate everything you do, Jeff.
yeah,
And
just
thanks.
serving, doing my duty, and I'll keep doing it as long as I can. I'm not going nowhere. If the people want me to keep working, I'll maybe run for something else later. I'm hoping to get the Senate turned around to where we start assuming our duty and serving the people the way we're supposed to, and get them going in the right direction in the next 4 years, and then hopefully leave it in a better shape than when I got in there.
You bet. I would say you're well on your way, friend.
Thanks, Shilo. You have a blessed evening.
You too. You too.
Bye.
Bye. So, Senator Jeff Magrum from District 8. So, I always enjoy having him on. He's been a friend of the show for a long time, and I really do appreciate everything that he does. And he's one of the good guys and a great fighter for the state of North Dakota. That's for sure. I don't really have anything else for you guys. I don't remember. We're gonna make some announcements about Friday's show. I think we're gonna have a guest that is gonna run for governor, and he's probably not well known. So, but I will make sure that we get that out as soon as we confirm that he's gonna be on the show. But other than that, Marvin should be back on Friday night with us. And again, I'd ask that you guys keep him and his family in your thoughts and prayers, and as they're going through their loss of Sarah's grandmother, and I know they could sure use the prayers right now. So with that, I will see you guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on Friday night.